What were some of the strategies that you use to have teachers adopt the idea of using the progress monitoring data? And it sounds like probably no, but did you get any pushback from either teachers or parents that this was, sometimes we hear, oh, that's too much testing?
So in the beginning, so I'm going to answer that as a yes and a no. In the beginning, I did get pushback that there was too much testing right when I came into the role. And I said, well, let me take a look at everything you guys are doing because there wasn't necessarily a dedicated place that had everything listed for every single grade level. And so we started an audit regarding what the teachers were doing and how long it was taking them and what was the information we were getting from that, and their plate was full. And then I found out, um, doing a little bit more digging, even more assessments were given in kindergarten because of the report card. And so the report card was driving certain data points that teachers needed to be able to put on a report card. Now, I'm not of the belief that we test kids for grades on a report card. I'm of the belief that if we're going to take instructional time, it needs to be quick, it needs to be easy, it needs to be accessible, and it has to drive instruction. And if it's not driving your instruction, then we're not using it. And I will tell you, I got rid of every single assessment they were using as a district required assessment. And I only included the DIBELS going forward. At the time, I think it was DIBELS Next we were using. We've now advanced to DIBELS 8, and phonics screeners if we needed to dig a little bit deeper based on some of that data. Now, our special ed department will dig deeper and we'll use other assessments, where needed. And teachers will have some informal spelling data and things like that that they collect. But as far as a district-wide assessment that's, mandated at this time of year, everything was dropped. It was use your professional judgment based on what your students need. Again, we have the luxury of having literacy facilitators to guide some of those conversations in the schools to help teachers. And the reading department, at large will help the teachers with some of the testing in their classrooms, even though we really focus just on the DIBELS and the phonics screeners as sort of district-wide assessments for our youngest kids in elementary. And some of the pushback I got was the opposite. They're saying, "Well, we can't drop this assessment, and we can't drop this assessment." And one of the big things for us too was dropping level text. This was a DRA district at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and we were using that, and the teachers were frustrated because kids weren't making advances and they were teaching them, but it wasn't necessarily aligned to what they needed because we didn't really have data or an assessment that told us what the kids need or
Right,
to
at
be
the
able to.
skill level.
Exactly. And I said to them, you know what, you guys are just killing yourselves. You're spending between 20 and 45 minutes sometimes on an individual student. We started adding up all of the instructional minutes lost, and we talk a lot about what's the ROI, what's your return on investment. If you're going to spend all of this time on assessment, what are you getting out of it at the end? What have you changed for this child? And so, really, after that, there was no pushback. We got everybody trained. We continue to do training every year because we are a highly transient district with not just students but teachers. And so we
Mm-hmm.
have, again, through the support of our literacy facilitators and reading department, we're able to set up those systems in schools to keep everybody trained. So it really, I have to say, it wasn't that bad once they saw the value of the data they were getting from it and how it, was being used to drive their next steps with kids.
And I just want to applaud that approach and also highlight it again for our listeners. And you talked about doing an audit. That's something I've always tried to encourage people to do. I always say, if you don't know what question this test is going to help you answer, you should not give it. Right. And the idea that it's helping me answer what grade goes on the report card, to your point,
Mm-hmm.
probably not a good use of your time. But also, when people do those audits, they often see a lot of duplication. To your point, maybe the state required something or the district, and they don't even know why they're doing it other than the state told us to. Right. And when you put all of those on top of each other, you see that maybe three tests are trying to answer the same question, right? Of who's on track or who needs more support. So I love that that's where you started, because we did a survey. It was about 1,000 teachers. This was many years ago, but between the testing, the scoring, entering the data, at the end of the day, and this was just reading, not even math, teachers were taking up to 20 instructional days across the year just on testing. And so if you can get some of that valuable time back, it's really powerful. So, and I love that even though it was maybe a struggle at the beginning, people have come around and have seen the value, because you do need that data to help you inform your instruction and change based on where they currently are.